Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I again welcome you to the last session of the FinTech 2021. I hope you enjoyed all the sessions so far, and we had able to get the wonderful global FinTech leaders in this conference. I'm here with again one more global leader, global FinTech leader, who will be talking in the mentorship and the training framework through belief. And it's a proud privilege for me to welcome Shri Arun Jain, who is the chairman and the CEO Intellect Design Arena, and who was the founded Polaris. He's an evangelist, design thinker. He has FinTech 8012, the world's first design center for financial institution, was his brainchild. He is an avid practitioner of design thinking through public workshop. He has branded as Unmukt. With a constant drive to better the community around him, he instituted Mission Samriddhi, a social impact enterprise dedicated to holistic human development in India through the unique philosophy of calibrate, connect, catalyze. He's also started a unique initiative called Startup Nukkad for budding entrepreneurs to understand their purpose and mentor their curiosity. It was befitting for the personality for Shri Arun Jain that he has been nominated as the chief mentor of the Center of Excellence being set up at STPI Chennai in FinTech by the Government of India, MIT, and the Government of Tamil Nadu together. He is also the governing council of the member of the STPI and a member in the advisory council of the TechNest, an incubation facility which is being provided by the STPI. It's a proud privilege for me to welcome you, sir, and I would request you to give your keynote address on mentorship and training through belief framework. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Tyagi, for such a long introduction. I think I'm just Arun Jain, and must thank MIT, thank Tamil Nadu for organizing such an event of building an ecosystem of FinTech players in the country. It's a great initiative by them to look at it, that how corporate, how startups, how government, all three pillars can work together to create a unique value proposition for the nation. Now, to start my address, let me just first say what is startup. Startup is in any organization which converts an idea to the impact. It starts with some idea or observation or observing some pain of the human or the system, and then provides a solution to the stated or even unstated pain which customer may be perceiving it. The startup can be put into three different stages. I'll use a color metaphor for defining the three stages of startup. First stage is when startup is connecting between desirability to feasibility. I call it purple island of startup. Second stage of startup is a blue island, when feasibility is established and we need to justify into the viability of the startup. And third is, once it becomes viable, it needs a scalability, and that I call it a green land. It's landing on the green land where it can organically grow and grow further. Now let's define the purpose of any startup ecosystem is to move from startup to business. Then the definition of business need to be articulated. A business is an organization which drives repeatable, predictable, and profitable growth and take care of all its stakeholders, whether it's employees, customers, and investors. If you imagine business as a cuboid has 6 faces. And normally we define capital in terms of finance capital. Now, I believe the business has got 6 capitals. First capital is called brand capital. Second capital is called end customer capital. Third capital is the team, the leadership team is called leadership capital. Fourth is my IP product differentiation capital, which I call IP capital. Fifth is called operations and execution capital, how you deliver the promise which you're making to the customer. And sixth is called finance capital, where you manage how your accounts, funding, everything gets managed under the finance capital. If you just pick up the keywords of each capital, B from brand, E from end customer, L from leadership, I from IP, E from execution, and F for finance capital, it makes it belief. And I think that is the belief framework of mentorship, because any startup needs all the six capital to be there to drive a consistent output. Just a simple exercise. I'll ask a question to you. There's a 1-inch cuboid. If it becomes 3-inch cuboid, what will be the volume growth of the cuboid? Is it 6 times? Is it 9 times? The answer is 27 times. When the all six capital work in unison, that's where the magic of startup happens, because the capital multiplies 27 times. Now the third definition which I need to look at it, who is mentor and what is mentorship and training? A mentor is the one who lends his hand to you for helping you to cross the bridge between the startup and the business. So your end objective is to become a repeatable business, sustainable business, and your starting point is startup. A person who connects that bridge is called a mentor. He is the one who provides you a torchlight during your dark nights for crossing over the bridge. Because journey of an entrepreneur is embedded with few bright mornings, but a lot of dark nights are associated with him. This journey of startup to business has to come from 3 different islands, from purple island to blue island to green island. Let me connect these 3 islands to the design thinking definition of Ideo. First definition of Ideo is human desirability, technology feasibility, and business viability. 3 circles need to intersect. You must have seen this diagram. The centerpiece is called experience. When it becomes experience, then it becomes design thinking. And that's where I would like to connect the 3 stages of startup. The second definition of design thinking, which is there, is by, there's a book on design of business, which is written by Roger Martin on how do you scale the business. He defines design thinking as moving from mystery to heuristics and to algorithm. When systems become algorithmic, then it becomes self-sustainable, self-repeatable, and that's the objective of any scalable business. The purple island is where desirability meets feasibility. At this stage, entrepreneur has some thesis or idea which he believes can help prospective customers to improve their business, provide more convenience, or reduce operational cost. He has to add 3 ways, either to the customer growth or customer convenience or operational cost reduction. He also knows technology, which can be defined in a Oxford Webster it's a techniques, tools, systems, hardware and software, all technologies which comes together. That makes it any idea to a feasibility stage. Let's call this mentor who help the startup at this stage called purple mentor. I'm defining the word purple mentor, the mentor who helps to connect the dots between desirability and feasibility. The core competencies of the purple mentor should be to understand the ecosystem of prospective customers to whom the solution is targeted, or end customers for which solution is targeted, so that he can help entrepreneur to understand stated and unstated pain or needs of the customers. So he has to have a lot of empathy to understand the customer better. And then he also needs to navigate well that how is the right technology is there for solving this. Not it's right, it has to be appropriate technology because cost is important for differentiation for the startup. In both the situation, Purple Mentor has to deeply listen to startup teams, then identify 1,000-gram impact item. I call first law of design thinking is spotting the difference between 1,000-gram, 100-gram, and 10-gram impact items. So he should be able to identify 1,000-gram items versus 10-gram items. This process, he runs through the multiple design dialogues with the startup teams. I recommend he can use a 5-step process of design thinking to go through the landscape cartographic mapping, detective mapping, asking the right question, divergence and convergence, and brainstorming sessions in some open white spaces. The Purple Mentor has to spend multiple workshops with the startup teams and then create 2 or 3 cycles of prototypes before it becomes ideally a prototype solution which is there. In startup terms, Purple Island is connected to angel funding because this phase, when desirability and feasibility is getting established, you need some funding, which we call angel funding. The output of the Purple Island is building a product capital, which I call IP capital. So your product is well defined and IP capital is developed. And then I have tested the thesis with 1, 2, or 3 customers. So I start building the customer capital of the belief system. Once a startup cross over the bridge, Purple Bridge or Purple Mentor helps him to cross the bridge, we land up into Blue Island. It's time to connect feasibility to viability. Because by this time, I know what is the benefit customer is driving, how the technology is supporting it afterwards. So over here, I'm introducing a Blue Mentor. The competency of the Blue Mentor, which is expected from him, are to understand the uniqueness of the solution in terms of what is benefiting the customer in quantitative terms, in area of convenience or his business growth or in efficiency area. Blue, second point he needs to have competency is he needs to help startup team design customer benefit storyboard. What does it mean, customer benefit storyboard? What does it mean? You take a one whiteboard or take a Jamboard on Google, start putting all the benefit which you are believing it will solve the customer problem. A lot of time, startup I've seen, they add 5 values, 10 values into the system, but put all of them. Now, first is to facilitate him to design a customer benefit storyboard. Then next stage is Blue Mentor helps the startup to draw. Similarly, you take a second whiteboard, put a competitor benefit board because somebody in the world would be providing and solving the same problem. So put it a second whiteboard where competitor benefit storyboard is created. Now you have 2 storyboard, your own startup storyboard and competitor storyboard. Then the Blue Mentor has to help in designing the value proposition story in very sharp language. What does sharp language means? I can give a lecture for 20 minutes, but if I have to speak only for headline, which may be 10 words, I should be able to give a value proposition on ice cream stick. So I suggest in design thinking, take an ice cream stick and write the value proposition there. So mentor should help them to consolidate the right words to call the value proposition. Then the Blue Island, a Blue Mentor, which works with them in the Blue Island, he needs to understand the price benefit equation very, very well. So he has to help startup teams to connect price and benefit equation better. And then they have to test the pricing in multiple cycles with the end customer for the customer acceptance. So these are 5 skills which Blue Mentor needs to have. The startup typically stays on Blue Island from 12 months to 36 months, depending on the nature of the business. If it is a cloud business, it can be shorter cycles, but if it's enterprise business, it takes 36 months in a Blue Island where feasibility and viabilities are there. So don't be anxious that you can come out of the Blue Island very quickly. The output of the Blue Island can be measured in terms of brand capital, because your marketing message will get set up, your brand will get set up. Customer capital, you will move to at least 10 to 50 customers in this stage. Your IP capital will get further refined, and you start creating your execution capital. And then you will have some profitability or operational profitability for during this phase. So your finance capital also get addressed. This is in typical startup ecosystem, we call it Series A funding. This Series A funding is required for sustaining a Blue Island, and Blue Mentor has to support that. So while Angel Mentor gets you angel funding, while Blue Mentor gets you Series A funding and utilization of Series A funding in a better manner. With quantitative customer between 10 to 50 customer with high customer adaptation and acceptance, it's time to land on a green land. This is a time when all aspire startup to become land on a green land. And here we need a green mentor. So purple mentor, blue mentor, now I'm talking about green mentor. His competencies are different. His role is to design the repeatable, predictable, and profitable growth business. At this point of time, investor is looking for growth as well as predictability. For this, what he has need to done? We need to go to Carl Rogers to see the design of the business, which is about mystery of the business. Over here, major design element comes where each design element has to convert mystery to heuristics and then to algorithm. The first thing is design mentor needs to help the startup is designing the organization design. What should the critical role? What should the competency? Help in hiring the organization team or leadership team during the green mentor has to do. Second is he has to understand current operations and try to remove mystery for repeatable business. So he has to do the operations design and repeatable execution. The third thing he needs to do is design the voice of customer systems or observe, help design the system. He also needs to help in design, distribution, and marketing systems. And finally, he needs to create a harmony among the team members and the new team members, or the creating a governance board structure, whether signing up a new board members, all are required at this stage. So green mentorship is a continuous process after that, and it takes multiple design cycles with the operating teams. Each cycle, I would suggest, it can be run by like a sprints of 12 weeks to 24 weeks of improvement. And that's what we do it at Intellect. To summarize, we need a very vibrant mentor system having for successful startup ecosystem. The common behavior trait among purple, blue, and green mentors can be clearly identified, which are common across all the 3 mentorships. But I'll just touch upon, before jumping to the characteristics, I like to highlight that when I see various startup system in my journey, I started Nucleus way back in '86, then started Polaris in 1993, then Intellect sometime in 2014. In all the 3 phases, some of the things which are there is my own ability to learn or not learn. A lot of time as a mentee, I am not ready to learn, or I'm not ready to accept, because at a young entrepreneur, you believe or used to believe that I know it all. But in many point of time, I use various mentors. In purple stage, I use one of the mentor, Prasad Kaipa, who challenged me on what my belief systems are. During the blue mentor stage, I did a mentoring. I got a mentorship from Anil Sachdeva. And to the green mentorship, I have another coach and the mentors which are available and sounding board which are available. So there is a concept of mentors, coach, and advisor. So one has to be clear that these three roles are very different. Mentorship is the three mentorship I defined: purple, blue, and green. Coach is somebody who helps you personally to move forward as an entrepreneur. He understands your doubts. He understands your conflicts. He understands your anger. He understands your fears. He understands your ego. He understands your limiting beliefs. He understands your vulnerabilities, and he understands that you need appreciation. So these 8 values we call DCAF: doubt, conflict, anger, fear, and ego. And 3 elements: vulnerability, appreciation, and limiting beliefs. These 8 elements, coach has to help you to drive that. And third category, which we call in the startup ecosystem loosely, we interchange, but it's a different meaning, called advisor. What is the role of advisor? Advisor is a person who is expert in his field. He's like a surgeon in medical vocabulary. He has expertise in the areas of each capital. He can be expert in brand capital. So he should be marketing guru. He would have run the marketing system. So those are the advisors. He may be customer capital. They could be advisor. They could be advisor for human resource practices, what you want to implement for leadership capability building. They should be advisor in product or IP and technology advisors. They could be operational advisors. They could be consulting companies for that matter. And there's a finance advisors who will help to raise the fund. So these are called advisors. So mentor, coaches, and advisors are 3 different purposes. There may be possibility that you may have 2 or 3 people which may serve and they play the multiple roles. You are lucky because sometimes competency, you can find a lot of competency in 1 or 2 persons if they have gone through the complete life cycle. Otherwise, you need to choose among all these players differently. So just summarizing it, I'm saying we need to build up business cube, which consists of brand capital, around marketing, around sales system. It needs to understand customer as a capital, because customer is a salesperson for you, because he resell your product. In modern digital vocabulary, it's a word of mouth sale, it's a customer sale. Have you seen who is a salesperson of Facebook? It is, I am the salesperson of Facebook because I recommend somebody else to sell Facebook there. Then leadership capital, how the structures could be there, what is the stock option plans are there on the leadership. Then your IP capital, how your technologies are there, how your differentiation you are creating in the system, what technologies are you using. Execution capital is a 5th element, and 6th is the finance capital. So all the 6 elements, which is called belief, and that's what I say, each startup has to have a belief what he wants to do in next 5 years. When you're committing to this, you should commit your 10 years for the startup system rather than saying 3 years time or 5 years time of value creation. Value gets created in 3rd cycle of, it requires a lot of patience business. On the training, I'll take some few minutes on training. Training can be done by the advisors. Experts can give you a training. So STPI, FinBlue conducts multiple sessions on the training. Training can be around each capital area, and we'll be conducting those training sessions. They could be a startup. Universities are there, which can help the program around all the 6 capital, because the entrepreneur has to juggle all the 6 balls. So I would say if you have 2 or 3 partners in a startup and with a complementary skills, the 2 capital each, the chances of success are higher. And then you need to look at the purple, blue, and green mentors. And common characteristics of a mentor which can be available is he should understand the intellectual and emotional psychology of the entrepreneur. He should understand the core incompetency of the startup members, not core competency. I'm saying core incompetency of the startup team members, because each one of us have a core incompetency and he needs to understand that besides understanding my core competencies. He needs to be deep listening with interruption and judgments. He should frame the right questions at appropriate time to help startup teams to think better. Framing of the question should be his core competency. Connecting the entrepreneur with a new knowledge. New knowledge can come from some articles from various areas, or he can connect with experts, or he can connect with advisors, or he can connect with some funding organizations. And he can help the startup to spot what is 1,000 gram for them, which is the first law. Second law is he helped them to move the journey from 98% to 99.9%. I say in design thinking law, second law, last 2% is 200%. And third law of design thinking is less is more. So he helps in keeping the team true to all the three laws of design thinking. And that is a role which can play and reduce the chances of failure and improve the chances of success of a startup ecosystem. And in a startup ecosystem in FinBlue, in FinTrack, in Tamil Nadu, we would like to look at it. A lot of people who can be purple mentors, who can be blue mentors, and who could be green mentors. And we would like to invite all of you in that session. Thank you very much for listening to me patiently.
Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful keynote address on the mentorship and the training through belief. How nicely you have inculcated all the design thinking model, all the 5 design thinking model principles of empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test into this belief framework. And you have spoken about the purple island, purple mentor, blue mentor, and the green mentor. And in the journey of a startup, when he is a startup and then he has to transit to a business space, how he has to nurture his 6th capital, which is there into the belief framework. You have very nicely explained that, sir. And we are very thankful that you have appreciated the effort of the government of India and the government of Tamil Nadu for initiating this FinBlue program in a very collaborative environment. And probably besides this, the success of the India stack, which has also been developed in a very collaborative environment with the industry and the government, this is probably the second one, which is one of the most successful collaboration of the government and the industry, where chief mentor like you are heading us and taking us forward. So I would like to ask few questions, sir, regarding this session. And the first thing which is prompting me to ask, when you told me purple mentor, blue mentor, and green mentor, then my question is, sir, how do you build this mentorship network of the purple, blue, and the green mentors?
I think in Chennai or in Tamil Nadu, we have a lot of purple mentors because a lot of professors, a lot of incubators, they know the technology very, very well, and they know the customer very, very well. So they have a conceptual, very good clarity. And that's where we can bring a lot of purple mentor from educational institution or some sensitive organization, which is customer sensitive organization, some social schools also who can bring a customer sensitivity. We need to bring some people from liberal arts college, like Kriya University, which is coming up. So the professor from there, we can bring it as a purple mentors. Blue mentors are slightly more difficult to find because they have to connect feasibility to viability. And there you need a lot of marketing expert who are closer to the customer. So some of the marketing organization people who are in the marketing can act as a blue mentors. And green mentors, a lot of corporate leaders in IT industry or fintech industry or banking industry who have scaled up their business. When TCS was a small organization, Infosys was a small organization, or Polaris was a small organization, and they helped them grow 10 times. Those are my green mentors. So I think Tamil Nadu has a very healthy mix of all the mentors, and we can bring it and introduce to the fintech players at appropriate times.
Yes, sir. And as far as the startup is concerned, who's actually the mentee, and their requirement of growth, their requirement of the business is different. So we have to match their requirement, with the mentor. So how can we help them in self-matching, self-matching with the mentor? Whether it is good for them to, we should allow them to self-match with the mentor, whether that is more fruitful, or we should introduce them mentor as per their requirement, after understanding that.
I think mentorship is a very serious commitment for success of the mentee. And similarly for mentee, when I'm a 25-year-old guy, I may not be ready for the mentorship. So sometimes I need to be prepare myself to be mentorship, because I don't listen to my father in my home. So how do I listen to anybody else in the system? So between 25 to 35 years of age, you feel that you can solve all your problems yourself. So if mentee is not willing to accept, I think mentors may not be able to help him in doing it. But we need to connect them. We need to show the path that how mentorship can help in changing and shaping the thinking and removing the blind spot for him. All of us, when we are driving on a road, there may be some blind spot. Even in the car, we have a blind spot on the left corner, right corner of the car, where we don't see the complete view of it. So we have those blind spots. So mentor helps in removing those blind spots. But that can be done only by building a trust, by having some events, by talking to each other. They will build the confidence and people will share with it. So this networking culture has to come where people in the FinBlue system or FinTrack system are willing to commit their commitment of next 2 years for one organization, whether they want to, I would say 18 months for purple mentorship, 18 months for blue mentorship, 18 months for green mentorship. At least that much commitment is required. And for that, you need to have systems where every month you are meeting, or every 2 months you are meeting with a face-to-face, 4 hours, 8 hours, 2 days, that kind of a time you need to spend.
Yeah, absolutely right, sir. I mean, you have rightly said that there is an age for the mentee, and there is an age for the mentor also, and it should match with each other. Probably we are habitual of listening to our elders, so there has to be that thing also should be factored in. But once again, I'm coming back to the matching through the mentoring platform. Do you see in future that there will be a mentorship platform where we will using artificial intelligence for matching a mentor from the mentee?
Yeah, personally, I don't believe that it's that. It's not a matchmaking like Shadi.com or it's a very, very big commitment. But LinkedIn is a very, very good tool where we understand the psychology of each other. We read about what everybody is publishing, and one can take their mentors and read their LinkedIn messages, what type of messages, whether you're fitting into the similar amount of psychology. So those tools will be useful. LinkedIn tools, social media tools will be available to choose the right mentor and request for the right mentorship. But AI can be there, but I think it's for high volume processing, you can do it. I don't think in a startup system, but good idea, Dr. Tyagi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And moreover, sir, the mentorship is, as you said, that it is a continuous engagement with the mentee, and there should be certain duration. And most of the time, a mentor feel that it is a one-time job and they have spoken to them. So what do you think, what is the follow-up time with the mentee, the mentorship, the minimum follow-up time with the mentee which this mentor should follow up with them?
It depends on early stages. When you are establishing a relationship, some design workshops to be done, like I'm saying, desirability, feasibility, that stage. You may need a closer interaction every once in 3 weeks kind of interaction, or maybe intense interaction for 2-day workshops or 3-day workshop, because the clarity is not there. You may have to do prototype didn't work, feedback doesn't come in on prototype. So that time, a monthly frequency is much better for purple mentor. For blue mentor, it could be once in a 45 days, twice a quarter could be there. And green mentor can be once in 2 months kind of a thing is required, because less than 2 months time, one cannot show the results of the inputs given to him.
Yes, absolutely, sir. The purple island, the requirement of the purple, when the startup in the purple island is different. When he's in the blue island, it is different. And when he's a green island, the requirement is different. But I think the easiest job of the mentor is in the green island, when he has to only advise and focus in some critical areas and provide the guidance to the startup ecosystem. I think, sir, then the next question is that how to, recognize mentors. This is a very important thing that, it is very difficult to identify a mentor, whether everybody have this trait of mentorship. They may be very successful in their field, but what are those traits which one mentor should have? What are those capabilities one mentor should have? And by easily which we can recognize them.
Yeah, I think mentor needs two kind of recognition because they have achieved a lot of things in their life. So they may not be looking for just financial alone. Some people may be looking for financial, which can be given in the form of some equity options, which startup has, because as of now, I'm saying 100% of grape versus a small slice of a watermelon. So starting the sharing of startup is important. Getting a pool of the stock option is possible. So one recognition is the recognition of the effort mentor is putting, which is more emotional, personal acknowledgement. Second is around the financial, which is around the stock options, which can be there, which can be given to the mentor. Third is as an industry, we need to celebrate mentors. We need to celebrate them on a common platform, and some sort of at a state level, we celebrate startups. We never celebrate mentors. Maybe we can have a reward for the STPI, or government can reward mentors who is the mentor of the year.
Absolutely, sir. It's a very good suggestion. And you are our chief mentor and the chief advisor in our incubation program as well. So it is coming from you, and it will be taken up to the competent authorities. And I hope this is a very good idea to recognize the mentor also. And that is how we can have a very good database of, and probably we can, we can do this indexing, which we are doing for the startup also.
Yeah.
We can say that they are the purple, blue, and the green mentors with us. So this type of indexing. With that, we can actually, recognize the role of the mentorship. I'm coming, coming down to the last discussion which you have had about the training, and you said with all the 6 capital which is required for doing the business, wherein the startup need to learn a lot, and we have to probably in his purple period we have to create a lot of workshop and training program for him. So what do you think, sir? What specific workshops we should organize for training for these startups when they are migrating from startup to the business environment, from purple to probably blue island, and and what should be the timeline for that?
I think this has to be small doses, because entrepreneur is too busy in his problem solving. He doesn't have too much time. Maybe there could be interception of purple entrepreneurs. So first, we need to identify good trainers good in marketing. So in ecosystem, we say that these are 5 good marketing. These are 5 in customer, there are 5 in leadership. So if we have those 6 capital based 30 advisors or experts which are there who can do a training program, or we can use IIM Ahmedabad professors or IIM Bangalore professors to conduct this training, and we can have a 3-day capsule on marketing, or 3-day capsule on customer capital, or 3-day capsule on HR. Each could be 4 hours each. 3 days for 4 hours each on Zoom can be a good cycle for training, and these certified programs can be given some credit points, and we can give it at a very low price, or it could be subsidized and funded by STPI or some corporate to give to them. But the seriousness of the entrepreneur is important. That by some cost, if he pays from his pocket, because learning is the most critical piece in entrepreneur journey. He has to pay some portion of it, but a lot of it can be subsidized. But it has to be high quality. First of all, it should not be just for the sake of doing it.
Sir, thank you, sir. And the last question which I would like to ask you about this the startup ecosystem. If you identified 5 things which should always be there in the startup ecosystem, and you have to tell me in the order of 1,000 gram, 500 gram, and 250 gram and 100 gram order. And what is that last 2%, which is 200%, sir, in a startup ecosystem?
I think startups, first 1,000 item is a diversity in the culture. So as of now, few cities are more diverse than other cities. Silicon Valley is more different than the New York, Chicago. They have a more common American culture, while Silicon Valley is a more diverse culture. So diversity is a critical piece for the good ecosystem to be there. Then we need to have all the 6 pillars of startup ecosystem, which FinBlue we are talking about, which starting from buyer ecosystem to the funding ecosystem, to the benchmarking ecosystem, technology innovation systems, and the government support systems, all are required as part of the 6 pillars are required part of the building a good ecosystem. And then we need a few success stories. 1,000 item is we need a 4 or 5 bright stars. We have quite a few in Chennai, quite a few in India where unicorns are there. Those unicorns provide a guiding light to all the other startups to come in. And what success the investor has made in those, that money flows back to the new experimentation and new discovery of the startups. So success is important. Few successes are important in a startup ecosystem.
I'm still waiting for last 2%, sir.
Last 2% is a patience. Last 2% is a lot of hard work. Hard work is the last 2%. You have to do multiple cycles and you have patience. Huge amount of patience. Like when Intellect, when we are doing it, when we invested 1,200 crore in our building a R&D, we have invested 1,700 crore in last 5 years for just marketing and sales. It requires for global level of excellence, you need a huge hard work. We have close to 1,000 people R&D, which is working day in, day out for various systems to build up. So it's a thankless job in first 6-7 years. You have to put your heads down to get last 2% to 200%. We are now close to 99.5, 99.6%, still 0.4% to go forward to drive the change. But we are better off with 99.5% better than many other global companies.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think you have answered my all questions, and it was a very academic session for me. I have learned the nuances of the entrepreneurship and how to move forward. Though it is not simple, you had the different mentors at the different age, at the different time of your business. You had a mentor at the time of the purple zone. When you have moved to the blue zone, you have gone to the Mr. Anil Sachdeva have mentored you. And then there is another advisors which have advised you in the green island. And I hope you are standing there strong in the green island for a very long time. And we wish that you be there for a long time. And we are very proud to have you our chief mentor in the FinBlue, sir. And we will always be working with you to achieve that last 2%, which is 200% for the FinBlue. Thank you very much for joining this session, sir.
Thank you for organizing this event and inviting me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.